All right, let's jump right into a theory today that might just flip the way you see yourself and, well, everyone around you. It all starts with one kind of wild question. Seriously, think about that for a second. That solid, core you that you feel inside, the one you assume is always there and always the same, what if it's not really a thing? What if your personality isn't something you have, but something that happens between you and other people?
Now that is a radical idea. It comes from an American psychiatrist named Harry Stack Sullivan. And what he argued was that our whole concept of a single individual personality, well, it's a myth. And that one thought is the entire foundation of his interpersonal theory. So, let's get into it. Who was this guy, Harry Stack Sullivan? He was a total pioneer, really. He shifted psychiatry's focus from what's going on inside someone's head to looking at the space between people. Because that, he believed, is where personality truly lives.
Okay, I know that sounds a little academic, but let's break it down. He's not talking about internal traits like you're shy or you're outgoing. He's defining personality as a pattern of situations with other people. This means the you who talks to your boss is a genuinely different personality than the you who hangs out with your best friend. For Sullivan, you're not just playing different roles, you are, in a very real way, different people.
And bam, there it is. This says it all. It's a pretty startling thought, right? That you're not one single entity, but a collection of relational selves. The big takeaway here is that you are being constantly co-created in the space between you and everyone you meet.
So, if our personality is just a pattern of interactions, what's driving those patterns? What's the engine? For Sullivan, it all comes down to a constant balancing act between two fundamental tensions that are always pulling at us.
On one side, we have our needs. He called these conjunctive forces because they bring us together. An infant's need for tenderness, for food, those things connect them to their caregiver. But on the other side, we have anxiety, and that's disjunctive. It's a social thing that pushes us apart. It's that awful feeling of disapproval or insecurity that just wrecks our relationships. So our personality? It's basically the unique strategy we each come up with to get our needs met while doing everything we can to avoid that anxiety. So for Sullivan, growing up wasn't about hitting some internal psychic milestones. Nah, it was a story about our social world getting bigger and bigger. You don't just grow up, you grow up with other people. And the cast of characters who matter most is always changing.
We start out with just the mothering one. Then our world expands to include playmates, then whole peer groups. But then comes a stage that was absolutely crucial for Sullivan, finding a chum. This is that first real, intimate best friend, someone outside your family who you learn to care about just as much as you care about yourself. From there, each stage throws new interpersonal challenges at us, shaping the way we relate to people for the rest of our lives.
Now we're getting to what I think is Sullivan's most profound and, honestly, most hopeful idea. In a world that seems obsessed with what makes us all different, he came up with a concept that focuses on what actually unites every single one of us.
Just let that one sink in for a minute. Everyone is much more simply human than otherwise. This is the very heart of what he called the one genus hypothesis, and it's just a massively powerful statement about our shared humanity.
What he meant by this is that despite all the surface-level stuff that makes us seem different, our fundamental human experiences, our needs, our anxieties, our desire for connection are profoundly similar. Sullivan believed this shared foundation is the only reason we're even capable of having real empathy and connection in the first place.
Okay, so what does all this mean for mental health? Well, think about it. If personality is interpersonal, then it makes sense that our problems are interpersonal too. And this idea completely reframes how we think about psychological struggle.
This is so important. For Sullivan, a mental disorder wasn't some kind of disease inside your brain. It was a signpost pointing to inadequate or anxiety-filled relationships. The problem isn't in you. The problem is between you and other people. What a perspective shift, right?
And his approach to therapy flows directly from this. It's basically a lab for relationships. The therapist's job is to first help you see where your difficulties are. But then, and this is the key part, the relationship with the therapist becomes the main tool. They engage in a real face-to-face relationship with you, right there in the room, to help you see your patterns clearly and find healthier ways of connecting with people, ways that aren't all distorted by anxiety.
Which brings us right back to that central question. Sullivan's theory really challenges us to stop asking, who am I, and instead to start asking, who am I with you? So think about your own life. Who are you with your partner?
Who are you with your colleagues, your friends? The answers might just reveal the complex, ever-changing, relational truth of who you really are.